Commissioners meeting to order. All rise with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Elwell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Now, Heavenly Father, we thank you for allowing us to gather here in your presence tonight. We ask that you keep your guiding hand on us as we deliberate decisions that impact our county and residents tonight. We thank you for our soldiers, police officers, and firefighters that watch over us at home and abroad. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Commissioner Leitner?
Here.
Commissioner Walls?
Here.
Commissioner Rice?
Here.
Commissioner Duckham?
Here.
Commissioner Tompkins? Commissioner Mahoney?
Present.
Commissioner Williams?
Present.
Commissioner Elwell?
Here.
Chairman Shotwell?
Here.
8 present.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Entertain a motion to approve the agenda. A motion by Commissioner Duckham, supported by Commissioner Mahoney. Any items for removal? Any additions? Any changes? Seeing nor hearing none, all in favor as the agenda has presented, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Duly carried. We've arrived at awards and recognition. There are none this evening. We've now arrived at communications and petitions. If anyone has anything to bring forward to the Board of Commissioners, please do.
Move to receive.
We have a motion to receive and a support. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Duly carried. Yeah. Yes, they've been received. We have no special orders or public hearings at this time. We've arrived at the first opportunity for public comment. Public comment guidelines. Each individual will state their name. You will have 3 minutes to address the board. You may only address the board once under this public comment opportunity and may not yield your time to others. Board members will not debate nor answer questions at this time. It's the first opportunity for public comment.
I'm Israel Gray. I reside at 813 First Street, plus out in Vickery Road, 10501. I'm just here to talk about, we need to figure out what we're really going to do about this mental health deal. I know Lifeways grants has not really kicked in yet between Lifeways, Jackson and Hillsdale. It's getting really bad out there, as we all know. They're actually still turning people away, not giving them resources. Because I do have evidence of that, of my cousin hanging himself, and they refused him. They didn't tell him where else he can go. I don't know what else we're going to do. What's the point of supporting Lifeways if they're not going to do a little bit without no money? My other thing with a county road commission deal, I would ask you guys to approve that, although maybe we can get some of these prisoners out of the cell and do the work and just have people run the machines and just have them get out there with what they need to do. So, my other thing is, like I said, I know we can't do much, but speeding, there's a lot of speeding going on. I know we don't have a cop at every corner, but if the cops can patrol a little bit more in the county, that would be awesome.
Good evening, Board. Del Anto, Clark Lake. I'm here to talk about Steve Rand and the railroad job he got, or is getting. I have 10 points here that I would like to find out why no investigation, or these items weren't brought out and made public. So I'm going to start out with one. Number one, is Mr. Schutte receiving pay from the county still? If so, is it full pay? Number two, did Mr. Schutte have hearing aids prior to employment at the sheriff's department? Number three, was he tested for his hearing during pre-employment process at the sheriff's department? Number four, has anyone checked medical records to see if Mr. Schutte indeed did damage his hearing and eardrums prior to employment at the sheriff's department? Shooting a .44 without proper ear protection. Number five, what is in Schutte's employment file regarding behavioral or write-ups? Number six, has Mr. Schutte been written up for spending county time at his business, Express CNC? Number seven, how many police calls are there relating to Mr. Schutte being involved in noise ordinance complaints at his residence in Concord? Number eight, has Mr. Schutte had a hair follicle test? That might be an interesting one. Number nine, why were the audio tapes edited? And who has the original tapes? And finally, number 10, how could Mr. Schutte be a trustable employee at any government or in any private sector? You know, none of these questions have been brought to the public like the audio and video has, even though they were edited, cut and pasted.
30 seconds.
And, you know, it's only right that stuff like this is brought out, both sides. So, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Charles Underwood. I'm the president of the Jackson County Road Workers Association. I'm here to encourage the board to vote yes on the road recycling program. Our members feel the road recycling program is the change that our roads have needed for so many years, allowing us to stop putting Band-Aids on the roadways and actually repairing the infrastructure under our decaying roadways. From our research, we have found that this procedure is working all over the world, and us at Jackson County could be the innovators within Michigan. Our members and I feel this is the way of the future and look forward to moving JDOT and Jackson County to a future of not having to patch roadways. In conclusion, we see that the process that we're using at this time is not working, and it's time to step forward and try a new process that has proven to work. Thank you.
Peter Blummuth. I also want to speak for the JDOT proposal for the road recycling. I think this is an excellent proposal. It's environmentally sound. It reuses the asphalt. It prevents us from having to buy more asphalt for the base. It builds a stronger base and will allow us to build stronger, more durable roads. And it will save our taxpayers a great deal of money. The only people who could possibly be opposed to this is someone who would own a local asphalt plant or maybe a trucking company. I encourage all of you to remember that you represent all the citizens of Jackson County, all the citizens within your own district, and that everyone has to drive on these roads right now, and that every citizen finds this to be a torturous process. I hope you'll vote for new, stronger, recycled, cheaper, better roads. Thank you.
evening. My name is J.C. Smith. I'm from Summit Township. I'm here to talk about Steve Rand also. I look at you guys up here, and a year ago, you guys are patting him on the back. He's a great guy. Now I look at you guys, and you threw him under the bus so fast. But my question is this. My third ward here, he had let's say, a run-in with the system. Last year, about September 30th would be the exact date that he was placed under arrest. Where are you people at? You should have done the same thing, as I'm going to ask him to do now, resign his position. There's several unanswered questions there, too. Was he carrying concealed? Did they really get a ride home from somebody else? Is this what we want our county commissioners to do? I don't think so. So why haven't you people reacted the same way you did over hearsay and stuff that is in locker room? And like I've said before, you guys have all done it. None of you are innocent. None of you are innocent. So I just am left wondering why, when the average citizen would have been put in jail, and if you have a concealed carry weapon, you would have lost all rights to carry concealed. You would have lost all your weapons also. But yet nothing has been done. Whether his career is ruined or not, he brought it upon himself, nobody else. And to assault somebody in your own family, your own son, just not right. But yet you guys, because of what Steve Rand said, you threw him under the bus. Every one of you did. And I just find that just really repulsive. And all of you are comparable to it. You all ought to resign your positions and get out of Jackson, because it just isn't right. And I think deep down inside, most of you people probably think, no, it isn't really right. But we're going to do it anyway. So maybe you might want to think on that. Maybe you might want to think, maybe it's time to remove him from his position. Because in the third, we're not real happy about it. That's all I got to say on it.
Any other public comment?
Good evening, John Wilson, City of Jackson resident. Regarding the piece of equipment that you're going to consider purchasing tonight and the bond issue that you're also going to consider voting on tonight and approving, the $7 million to purchase the $5 million piece of equipment, do we have a choice? The drivers of Jackson County are desperate. Some are so desperate, such as those in Spring Arbor and Summit Townships, they voted themselves a special assessment property tax increase because Summit Township, Spring Arbor Township Board of Trustees, Jackson County Commission all failed in their duties to take care of our streets and roads. Soon, Blackman Township will be considering the same, and I'm sure Mr. David Elwell will be in full support of that. City of Jackson will do the same, and I'm sure Mr. Williams will be in support of that. For us to either vote to increase our property taxes through a special assessment, it's not necessary. But I have to sometimes wonder if this is all by design, that you wanted us so desperate driving on these streets and roads that we're okay voluntarily increasing our own taxes to pay for a basic, essential government service that you were already supposed to provide for us, but you failed to do so. This county commission, previous county commissions, City of Jackson City Council, Summit Township Board of Trustees, Spring Arbor Township Board of Trustees, Blackman Township Board of Trustees,
Boy, Blackman Township streets and roads are almost as bad as the cities, if not worse. Summit's right there. But yet, you all continue to be reelected. I don't know how. Thank you.
Any other public comment?
Oh, sorry. Wrong mic. That might help. A little busy today. Yeah, Mike Raskowski, you need the address? Henrietta? Is that close enough? Okay.
Just name.
I want to have this as a kind of a double deal here. How you folks voted on Sheriff Rand. You know, there's a story out there. When I grew up in about the mid-'70s, which is about 10-plus years after the civil rights. During that period of time where Greenwood branch is off, there used to be called Abe's Chicken. In there was a mixed racial couple. Now, at that time, it was the way it was. I'm not proud of it, but this community's come a long way. Very long way. And this couple had an interracial son who I went to school with. Now, during that period of time, it was much like the show, Remember the Titans, but not nearly as racially divided. But typically what would happen at Parkside was this. You'd have a black and white captains for the football team. Look up Tony Dungy. He had an issue with that because he didn't get Bobby Burton as a co-captain, and he didn't want to even play his senior season. And none of the great things that he ended up doing would ever occurred without it. Now, during that period of time, by habit, I think, more than anything, the blacks would sit in one area, the whites would sit in another in the cafeteria. You go to a party, mostly it'd be whites, very few blacks. There was one interracial couple. Really, the only time you intermix was on the playing field. And the reason I bring this story up is because it's you folks that are dividing. It's these folks that are harmonizing. Right now, I am substitute teaching. I see multiple interracial couples. I see them sharing their Facebook, sharing their music, sharing everything. You see, the citizens haven't divided. They've raised harmonious kids that live for Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream. You see, you divide, they harmonize. You try to have cheap political points, but this community has come a long way. And so what do we have? We have the NDO, so we have a specialized group where they come out of town.
30 seconds.
We also have the blacks trying to make something up. Think of yourself and just close your eyes for a minute. Are they really saying it's somebody else? Just think about your own neighbor when you go to the schools, when you go to your grocery store. Is it really a racial divide? I think not. It is you that promote division,
Your time's up,
hate,
Mr. Raskowski.
and it's they who promote love and harmony.
Any other public comment? Any other public comment? Public comment is now closed. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the February 20th, 2018 meeting. We have a motion and support. Any questions to the minutes? Seeing or hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Same sign, nay. Motion carries. Entertain motion for the consent agenda. We have a motion and support for the consent agenda. Any items for removal? Seeing or hearing none, Madam Clerk, could you post the vote?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
I'm a yes. The consent agenda is passed unanimously. Moving on now to item 13, standing committees, affairs, and agencies, chaired by Commissioner David Elwell. Commissioner Elwell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have a number of appointments tonight. First up are 3 seats for the Lifeways Board. The first seat is currently held by Ed Woods, who was an applicant, and also the recommendation from committee.
Any motions from the floor?
Mr. Chair, since there's 3 applicants, 3 recommendations, do you want to take them as a team for Lifeways, or?
That is your prerogative. You make the motion.
I'm okay doing that.
I would move Ed Woods, Jeffrey Peterson, and Melissa Callison for the Lifeways Board's positions.
We have a motion and support. Is the chair comfortable with that?
Absolutely.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, duly carried. Commissioner Elwell.
Next up is the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority, same situation, 3 seats, and as long as there will be no nominations from the floor, I would nominate James Shotwell Jr., A.J. Crownover, and Ted Hillary.
Support.
Any nominations from the floor? Seeing nor hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same sign. Duly carried. Commissioner Elwell.
Same with the Economic Development Corporation, there are 4 seats. Recommendations from committee are James Shotwell Jr., Timothy Levy, Ron Allison, and Martha Firstenow.
Correct. We have support? We have support. We have a motion and support. Any nominations from the floor? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same sign. Duly carried. Commissioner Elwell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Next, we will have, and I so move the resolution supporting the gateway treatment for the I-94 and Cooper Street interchange resolution.
We have a motion and support. Any questions? Seeing or hearing none, Madam Clerk, could you post the vote?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
The resolution passed 7-1. Okay. Commissioner Elwell.
That's all I have to report, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Human Services Committee chaired by Commissioner Rice. Commissioner Rice?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Human Services has no business to come before the board tonight.
Thank you. Standing Committee Personnel and Finance chaired by Commissioner Duckham. Commissioner Duckham?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have no business to be conducted tonight.
Thank you. Item 16, unfinished business. Any items to come before the board under unfinished business? Seeing nor hearing none, we're moving on to new business. Any new business to be brought up by any commissioner? Seeing nor hearing none, we return to public comment. Each individual may state their name. You now have 2 minutes to address the board. You may only address the board once under public comment opportunity. It may not yield your time to others. Board members will not debate nor answer questions at this time.
This is Real Gray. Just wanted to say you guys are doing a great job, actually. It's tough for us to do our job sometimes, but sometimes when we don't want to, we have to do the things we have to do. And Steve Rand is going to just have to go. I'm sorry for those of you guys who've been assaulted tonight verbally. I just don't have no respect for the man no more. You know, he's done disrespected us, disrespected females, disrespected men in general. That is unacceptable. You guys did your job. Thank you.
I don't care whether this guy thinks Steve is good or not. You're the guys that pulled the plug, but you didn't pull the plug on him, which leaves me wondering, is it the good old boy network as usual? what Steve did was just so terrible, but assault and battery is a lot better. I'd like to have my sheriff just assault and battery people, because then he'd be okay. None of you will step up and do the right thing, will you? Not one of you. You'll all sit there and look. He should be removed. Anybody else would have been in jail. You would not be allowed to carry, you would not be allowed to own guns, because you've assaulted somebody, wife, children, whoever it may be. And this guy seems to think that that's okay. Well, I don't. You're all culpable for the fact that he still sits here on the county commission. And the people in the third are not really excited about it. It might have ruined his career, but he brought it on himself, just like you guys claim that Steve ruined himself. I don't want him removed. I want you guys removed. You're the problem.
30 seconds.
I'll give it to somebody else.
You know, it bewilders me how anybody can say that Steve Rand has let this community down or let the people of Jackson County down over a video that has been proven that it's been cut and pasted and edited and twisted to whatever the opposition wants it to say. Ask yourselves and check the 10 points that I gave you and see how accurate they are. And pull Mr. Schuette's employment file, which I'm sure you have. And if there's not any disciplinary action in there, why isn't there? And why hasn't this Board of Commissioners taken action? You know, it's not fair to present a half a story. It's like somebody getting up here and saying that this Board of Commissioners is doing a lousy job, and when they go to say why they're doing a lousy job, there's no facts to support that. There's nothing different. Thank
30
you.
seconds still. Any other public comment?
Yeah, I'm back to Mike Raskowski. You know, there's a saying in the Bible, he without sin cast the first stone. I read your resolution, 100% curious how far back we go. Do we go back to looking at yourselves? Do you account for yourselves? There's people that I defended in the past that maybe had some unflattering things to say during one election on a sign. Oh, we have manipulation of contracts, educating our young, yet we don't practice that Constitution. We have people that have police records. And yet you threw all these things at you. So, I just kind of wonder what the premise of the thing is. You put your hand on the Bible, you swear to uphold the Constitution. One of the pillars of that is presumption of innocence. We have an indictment system that can indict a ham sandwich, even though Steve Rand has not been indicted. I'm just asking to give him his day in court. You rush to judgment. There is a way, it's called recall. You all were elected. If they want it, there's 13,600 signatures, get them. But you're playing jury, judge, and executioner. I find it shameful because that's what you swore to. And listen, I hate some of the things, it's awkward, and Winston Churchill said it's the worst form of government, but it's so much better than all the rest. What you've shown
30 seconds.
is that you're making it the worst of the worst. You're making it mob rule. you're making it political. All we're asking for is give them a fair shot. That's it. I'll give you one present. Pick these stones up. Got enough for all of you. Why don't you take one on the way out? Cast it. I won't cast one at you.
Any other public comment? Any other public comment?
Peter Blumworth, and watch out when I got stones in my hand.
Well, in that case, we'll just move them for you.
I want to say that the most troubling thing about Steve Rand was the fact that he claimed that he did not even remember these comments. In other words, they came out of his unconscious, and they weren't filtered by his conscious mind, by his sheriff persona, by his other, personas. And that means that those comments reflect most likely what this person really is inside of himself when he's alone. And obviously when he's around others who are under his control. And I find that disturbing. I'd like to say one thing about Mr. Raskowski's comments that is accurate. The young people are not nearly as racist as the preceding generations. And there has been some improvement, but unfortunately, they don't vote.
Any other public comment?
Thank you, John Wilson. I'm not sure what we missed here, but I'm sure I'm not the only one here tonight that came to listen to maybe some discussion, debate on this $5 million piece of equipment and the $7 million bond that you're going to issue to purchase this equipment. Aren't any of us out here worthy to know exactly what each one of you think? Was this already discussed during one of your committee meetings? I guess it must have been. The newspaper reported that the first article on this piece of equipment, that some county officials, not sure where they were, but it was 1 a.m. in the morning, and they were at a hotel bar lobby, and they crunched the numbers on a napkin regarding this piece of machinery. So is that all we're going to know about this piece of machinery? You're just going to end this meeting? Or is there another part of the meeting that you're going to discuss this so you can inform us, the taxpayers, those of us who drive daily on these deplorable streets and roads? Thank you.
Any other public comment? Any other public comment? Public comments now closed. Commissioner comments. Commissioner Elwell?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd just like to thank Chris Bolt and the road department employee for the great job they did putting together the proposal that we voted on tonight on the consent agenda. And I especially appreciate the 2 prior opportunities we had to sit for, I think, an hour, at least for the first presentation, and review document after document and obtain information on it. And then the second opportunity in committee to go through the same information again and get questions answered. And then several commissioners had researched it themselves, as did I, about that process. And I just appreciate the process we have to go through that thoroughly, and again, for the good work they've done in researching it. And I look forward to hopefully our county being an innovator in the state again with this process. Thank you.
Commissioner Duckham?
Just a question for Commissioner Elwell. Were you referring to public meetings?
If I may, Mr. Chair, yes, both public meetings, I believe both of them recorded and available on the county website, I believe.
Thank you.
Any other commissioner comments? Go ahead.
Thank you. I guess I'll start on a good note. We started a 4-H for the city of Jackson. My wife and I started a 4-H for the city of Jackson, and for the life of me right now, I can't remember what Monday the meetings are on, but the meetings are on Monday. I believe it's the third Monday of the month from 6 to 8 at the Little Brown Building across from the fairgrounds. I definitely want to say thank you to my colleagues, to all the commissioners on this board for how strongly we've had to stand on this issue with the sheriff. It was actually a surprise to even myself that the entire board agreed that this gentleman has to step down from the position that he's in because he's not fit for the position. He may be fit for the position in another county that thinks the language that he used is okay, but as said, Jackson County's come a long ways. We're not trying to go backwards. Allowing an individual like that to stay in the position that he's in is going to be making this county go backwards. It's already caused us a black eye up to this point that we're trying to figure out how to get out of. There were several comments made that I wish I had all the time in the world to address, but it bewilders me how anyone could still stand on the same side as him unless you share the same sentiments as him.
Oh, come on.
Okay.
Come on.
You nailed that, good job.
And the next thing that I want to say is stepping up and doing the right thing. Stepping up and doing the right thing.
Mr. Chairman, point of order.
Yeah.
Point of order.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Mahoney has the floor, and I think we've heard public comments. I think it's inappropriate for the audience to be heckling him.
That's correct.
Well, he's addressing the public comments in his...
Mr. Antel, you're out of order, please, sir. Thank you.
Don't
Daniel?
worry, I'll wait.
Danny, would you like to continue?
Yeah, absolutely, I would. I think that what's not being understood from some people is this was not locker room talk because we were not in a locker room when these conversations were had. This was on the county's time, on the public's dime, in his office, during staff command meetings, talking to his subordinates. I don't know a job in this world I could get away with talking to my subordinates the way this gentleman was talking to his. I don't know a job that I could keep. I don't know one.
Mr. Antel, please. Thank you.
And the last thing that I'll say is if the county commission had its way and we were able to play judge, jury, and executioner, we wouldn't be talking about him continuing to have his job because his job would be taken already. So again, I want to apologize to all of the people who he offended, and I want to apologize to the entire county of Jackson for having to continue to put up with this black eye. And I'm going to personally ask again on the microphone that he step down. I think it's the right thing to do so that he can do exactly what he said, which is go and seek help for whatever he thinks he needs help for or training for. I just don't think that it should be done on the job.
Any other commissioner comments? Seeing nor hearing none, we have no closed session. Entertain a motion to adjourn. I have a motion and support. All in favor, please say aye. Same sign. Thank you.